pressed the wrong button. Hello, everybody. Welcome.
Hello.
Oh, you went straight to that one. Thought we were gonna surprise intro, bring him in.
I did not have time to set that up. I didn't have time to set that up.
Not here. Shh, pretend.
Okay, all right. Just hold on. I can hide him. Give me a second. I just 1 second. 1 second. Count nobody. Here, I'll put the starting screen. There we go. Okay. All right. Cool. Hey, everybody. How's it going? Episode 3 of the podcast. It's still as scuffed as ever, but you know it is what it is.
Always. I mean, it wouldn't be the trashiest podcast on Twitch if we weren't making mistakes.
True.
Emotional damage.
I need to make sure to mute that. All right. Well, how's it going, guy? I haven't seen you in like a week since the last episode.
I know, it's always been crazy. Nothing new. I picked up some overtime shifts at work, so I'm fucking dying right now. But other than that, making that money.
Makes sense.
Trying to stream. Car's been in the shop for a week. Still don't have that back. So I
have been playing Genshin Impact nonstop. I think I became addicted again.
Oh no! Don't tell me that.
It is what it is. It's not a huge deal.
I started this new game. Came out literally on the 1st. It's called Redfall. It's by Bethesda.
I've heard so many shitty things about that game.
Here's the thing. For the company Bethesda, being Bethesda, it definitely could be better.
Mm-hmm.
But it is not nearly as bad as everyone fucking... Like, here's the thing. I had never heard of this game. I saw someone streaming it the other day, and I was like, you know what? This game looks fun. I'm going to get it. So I got it, and I started streaming it. But I think people had been hearing about it coming out and, had such high hopes. And they just, they built themselves up and then let themselves fall. And it's like, we're not going to talk about that today. But in my opinion, I've been streaming it. I'm not getting crazy lag. It's a decent game. There are bugs here and there.
Just answer me one thing. Is it better or worse than the launch of Fallout 76?
Never played Fallout 76.
You would still know about it. That doesn't give me high hopes. All right. It doesn't matter. Because the topic today is, we kind of alluded to it last week. We're talking about Japan. Everyone's favorite country by default, whether you live in it or not. And I figured for this week, if we're going to be talking about a country, then it might have been a good idea to bring on our first guest, someone who is very familiar with all things Japan.
Professional.
Because he is actually Japanese. But yeah, Paddles, welcome. Would you like to introduce yourself?
I'm Creature Guy, and Guy Creature, and I creature all over the place.
Wait, you can't be Guy. I'm Guy. Wait a minute, that's my shtick.
You're this guy. He's Creature Guy. There's a difference.
Okay, fair. I just heard Guy, and I had to defend my honor here for a second.
Right.
Creature Turf War.
So Paddles, how for just the handful of people out there that might not 100% know how, what makes you an expert on Japanese stuff?
I talk to a lot of weebs, boss. a lot of people who have deranged fantasies about Japan that aren't simply true.
Yeah, I am ready for a lot of paddle opinions today.
Oh yeah.
All right. What?
I was gonna say, so Paddles, why don't you tell our audiences that might not know so much about you? What is Are you from Japan? Moved to America? Like, what's your history with Japan here?
So as Basara said, I am Japanese, and I do live in America. But my grandparents, when they came down from Japan a long time ago, I kind of grew up with them, and they had a lot of traditional Japanese values. They're the ones who kind of taught me Japanese and taught me, like, hey, you do this, you don't do that. And, obviously, the cultures mix in and kind of clash because, on that one end, my brain's like, this is like the American way. And then the other end is just like, oh no, I got to do it the Japan way. I can't do it like this. So, I kind of learned it from that way. Dude,
classic, like immigrant family conflict growing. I get that. Same exact thing here. Just, I had a Mexican perspective, of course, but it was the same thing. It was like, I didn't know how to act growing up. Like, should I try to be more American and assimilate, or should I try to, hold true to like my parents' more Mexican values. It's hard, being the child of immigrants, growing up in
Oh
America.
yeah.
It can be, there's a lot of internal turmoil for sure.
Mm-hmm. So you grew up in America though, Paddles?
Yeah.
So how much time would you say you've spent like over back in Japan? Did you do that, travel over there a lot growing up?
I did not actually. So this is kind of a little bit of a weird thing because like I'm very familiar with how like Japan functions due to being taught like how like society kind of is.
Mm-hmm.
And also because I do know a lot of individuals who do live in Japan, including family members. So I kind of like learned a lot from them over like man like 10 years or so because I got like really interested. So I guess I could put like a huge asterisk, which I kind of wanted to say at the beginning but forgot. That like some of the things I may say may sound like a little weird because obviously when you're in a different part of the world, everything kind of opens up. So like because I've not been to Japan yet, I can't like exactly be like 100% confident on particular things. So some
Mm-hmm.
things like if you guys ask anything, I probably wouldn't be sure on what I could particularly say. That makes
Mm.
sense.
Right.
That's
So
fair.
you're just
Okay.
clarifying your perspective.
Yeah.
Japanese descent, but born and raised in America. But that's
Take it with a grain of salt.
that's kind of like the perspective we're going to be coming at Japan today anyway, because like neither Guy or I have ever been to Japan. I think you haven't been to Japan, right, Guy?
No,
Okay.
but I really want to. Like,
We both really want to go, but we've never actually been. So everything we know about Japan has been either through typical weeb shit, right? Manga, anime, etc., or just from hearing things about it from people like you, Paddles. So I don't. I guess to start us off is, how do you think your perspective about Japan differs compared to someone like Guy or I, like just a typical American weeb?
Okay, so this is very easy, as I'm sure you've heard me talk about before,
Yeah.
Basura. But the thing that people like think about when they hear the word Japan, they usually think of Akihabara, right? They think about like all these buildings everywhere, anime girls plastered all over the buildings, maid cafes left and right, like their Starbucks.
there's
But
no
that's
maid
not.
cafes? Oh
I'm
my!
sure.
I'm
Sure
not
there
going.
are.
I'm
I'm
not
sure
going.
there are, Guy. Like, don't worry about it. I'm sure there are. Right?
Yeah, of
Okay.
course,
All
of
right.
course. But they're not everywhere because people kind of have like this weird fixation on like otaku culture. And I think a lot of that is probably because, like back then, I'm sure when when you were growing up, you seen like those old commercials like anime was like the best thing coming out of Japan. We have Dragon Ball and then like some other series. And they really shoved it down everyone's throat. So everyone now is just like, whoa, Japan? They have anime girls everywhere. And I love maids, so I'm gonna go to maid cafes 24/7. But when they kind of end up in
Mhm.
Japan, not really like that. It's just kind of like everywhere else where
And it kind of goes
it is
back.
pretty
I don't know.
normal.
As far as my knowledge goes, Japanese culture really started pushing the Western world. Obviously, with the big three. DBZ came before them, and then when the big three
Oh
came out,
yeah.
everyone just jumped on the bandwagon, and then here we are.
Dude, anime is cool nowadays. And
It
I
really
remember when
is.
like watching anime like made you such a target for bullying.
Yeah.
Like
Honestly, yeah.
if you liked anime, you couldn't really talk about it unless you talked about it with like other nerds and other losers at your school, because it was seen as like a nerdy thing. It was
Every
seen
time
as
I
something
think
to
about
like,
that,
yeah.
all I think about is that meme where the kid has the little pokey Mickey Mouse hand. He goes, "I have the power of God and anime on my
Yes.
side."
Exactly. That's basically
It just
everybody
gets
that
away with it. Everyone finds it funny. You do that back when we were in middle school, we were fucking punched in the face.
our
Shut up, nerd.
reputation would be fucking over 100%. But like, yeah, and now it's mainstream. Now anime and just like things from Japan in general are seen as like cool, desirable. Um, and it's just, I don't know, like it's about the perspective. 100%, like that's what this whole thing is. The perspective on Japan and Japanese culture has changed over the last like 20 years, and I'm like wondering what you guys think like contributed to that. Like how did anime go from something that was bullyable into something that is now seen as like cool?
I don't think it ever changed. I think it just became so more widespread with,
Hmm.
social media and the internet that more people were able to like connect, right? You didn't
Hmm.
have to go out at lunchtime and find people that are interested in anime. Now you have all these people on the internet and you start to feel more comfortable.
Oh
You
yeah.
find more people like you that like what you like. And then, let's say YouTube or Vine, when those things started coming out, you get more anime related content and you start going like, oh, hey, there's people that are like this, and it just kind of grows, and then you start building communities and things like that. I definitely am going to correlate it to just internet and social media, like being able to connect on such a wider base at such an easier level. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Oh
I
yeah.
think it also helped that like, um, I think I want to say like, how do I say this phrases, like successful people started being a lot more open about
Hmm.
their interest in anime. Like, I don't remember any celebrities from like the 90s or even early 2000s that were really like, yeah, I like anime. But definitely in like throughout the 2010s, more and more celebrities, movie stars, musicians, whatever, have come out and been like, yeah, anime is pretty pog. I watch it. And I think
Hmm.
that has definitely like helped reinforce the idea that it's not really like a weird nerdy niche thing anymore, that it's kind of just like um another like type of entertainment, just like any other TV show or movie. It's
Oh,
normalized a lot more now because of that.
100%. And I would
Hmm.
say, like, I don't know about many people, but I think with the more back in the day, obviously you had a couple things that were dubbed if they were on TV, like
Yeah.
Cartoon Network, Toonami, like those late night shows. You got the dubbed versions, but other than that, everything was in Japanese. But now with all of the streaming websites and things like that, you have a lot more dubbed options for things, which I think
Hmm.
opens it up to more people that maybe got interested in later but never grew up watching like the subbed animes and just couldn't get into like there's those people that are like, I can't read and watch a show. Like, I just get distracted. And that's fair. So I think, again, that opened it up and gave more people the opportunity to kind of watch it and be comfortable watching it and be like, okay, this isn't that bad. Because I know one of my things that I'm watching right now, for those of you that have seen it already, but Hell's Paradise. But for those people that say anime is kids cartoons, I want you to have your kid watch that. Hell's Paradise, Jujutsu Kaisen, like some of the darker animes coming out now, like even the non fucking raunchy ones are just not for kids. Like those
Oh,
people
trust
that
me,
say anime is for kids is absolutely on fucking something.
I've seen plenty of anime that is definitely not for kids. Trust me, like I'm pretty well experienced in that actually.
I'm sure
I
you are.
Speaking of anime, though, I actually wanted to ask you guys, especially you
Mhm.
paddles, are you guys the type of people that like to read the mangas, or are you just anime watchers? I'm very curious on this one.
I
Paddles,
mean, I guess
what's
I'll
that
go.
view?
Yeah. Yeah. I like reading manga. I like usually reading the mangas than watching the animes. Um, I guess like the reason why is because I just like reading more. A lot of
Hmm.
times, I like taking in like the details that like they'll put in the manga where they'll explain a lot more. Because when you watch the anime, sometimes they have to cut things in parts because they can't fit every specific detail because they have like a 24-minute runtime. So I like comparing stuff like that. Like Vinland Saga is like a good example where you read the manga, there's so much more detail and world building, but when you watch the anime, they're like, alright, we gotta quickly go, we're on a budget, we only have so many episodes, so this part is not important, let's just get rid of it and let's just focus on like this part right here.
Hmm.
Fair.
See, I'm the exact opposite. I've always thought reading is lame, and it doesn't matter if it's manga or if it's like some American novel. I've just, school killed my love of reading, and so I'll just wait for the anime to come out. I've no problem just waiting for each episode week to week. I'm not much of a reader. I'm sorry. Like I know that there's
It's
a
fair.
real art to manga and all that. I'll grab a manga and like I'll look at the art. I'll flip through the pages, but I ain't sitting there reading it. It's like why buy the manga book when I could probably just torrent the anime episode? I guess there's like you can also torrent the scans of the book as well, but
Yeah, I see lots of people doing like
Yeah,
manga scans online.
mhm.
because you
See,
also
I'm
have
on.
the oh,
Oh,
my
you're
bad.
fine. What were you saying?
Oh, no,
You're the
I was gonna
guest here. Let's hear
say,
you talk.
Mhm.
yeah, I was gonna say that like you also have like the problem where if you're an anime only watcher, sometimes you can watch animes that are just really bad adaptations, and like you wouldn't even be aware of that. And like the first thing that comes to mind for like a lot of people is Berserk.
Oh
Where if you
yeah.
watch the anime, it's just like really choppy CG where he's like bouncing up and down when he's walking,
Hmm.
and it's like that's a terrible adaptation because everything's so cookie cutter and they remove like a quarter of the book. But when you read it, right, you don't get that experience. And people who only watch the anime, they get confused like, why is Berserk so popular? Why do so many
Mhm.
people like it? The anime's bad. It's like, oh yeah, because they're mishandled and everyone just reads it.
I mean, oddly enough, you get that a lot in like Western media as
Oh
well.
yeah,
I know
yeah,
like
especially if
Game
that
of
show.
Thrones is like the one that pops to mind, you know. The books were great. Everyone that's read the book said it was amazing. But you look at how the TV show ended and it's like probably one of the like it's touted as one of the worst like endings
I
to
can
any TV show ever.
I can honestly say I don't even have to deal with that because I never watched Game of Thrones. I had no interest in watching Game of Thrones
I
like at
I
all.
I not to get too off topic, but I only watched up to like season 4 and then I don't know. I kind of lost interest. I have a very like short attention span. I
It's
prefer
fair.
like anime that's like 12 episodes, you know, like a
Hmm.
one season
Oh yeah.
single like contained kind of story. I couldn't do something like One Piece. I could
I
never
hate
watch One
those
Piece.
because okay, so me, I'm an anime watcher. I hate reading as well, but that's not the reason I don't like mangas. I don't like reading mangas because something I love about animes is like when you're watching, like I love some of the cliffhangers. I hate when they do cliffhangers every episode, but
Mm.
like I
Oh,
don't want to get to a cliffhanger in an episode where it's supposed to be like exciting and you like want to know what's going to happen, but you already know because you know you read the manga. You know that so and so dies, or you know so and so is gonna live because you know
Spoilers.
I said so and so. You don't even know what I'm
so
talking
and
about
so is dead. How dare you?
Dude, I didn't know that.
because of plot armor or fucking whatever. Some animes give people so much plot armor, and other animes are like, oh, we'll kill this person off, we'll kill this person off, we'll kill this person off. If anyone knows what anime I'm talking about in reference to that, you know you're as hurt as I am. Comment got killed. Sorry about that.
I've always heard of
um,
that. I'm okay.
but yeah, so I'm definitely more into the anime side, and I hate 12 episode animes because if I find one that's really good that came out 6 years ago and they're like, oh yeah, we're not making the season 2 because it just didn't do well enough. I'm like, give me fucking season 2, please,
No
please,
game, no life, dude.
please.
My copium
Oh
for that is
man.
through the roof. I love that
Uh,
anime. And like the thing is there's enough material to make several more seasons. It's just
oh
the
yeah,
author doesn't
absolutely.
want to. Because
There's a
that's
lot
how
of
it is.
animes like that.
Yeah, exactly. They make just one anime season to like kind of get you hooked. And
Hmm.
then the creator is like, yeah, I'm not making any more. If you want to like continue the story, buy my books,
Yeah,
buy
I
the
mean, a
manga,
couple
read
couple
that.
animes off the top of my head that come to mind is Chivalry of a Failed Knight and Asterisk War.
Mm, mm.
Both of those were super good short animes that just never got another season. That like really made me sad, and I was like, "What the fuck?"
I don't get it. It's just like I mean, I kind of do. I know that you
Uh,
want to like push people towards like the main business, which I assume is the manga, but it's like you already went through all the trouble of making like of the
Mhm.
first season. Just keep it going. And
well,
look. Okay, sorry. What were you gonna say? Go for it.
I was gonna say like, well, usually the reason why is because a lot of things that like anime fans or even manga fans don't realize is that they're always on an uphill battle for popularity. They're always just fighting each other. So sometimes when you get series like the series you guys are talking about, sometimes they just don't cut it in terms of like the anime world because they also want to push you towards merchandise. Like, look, we have like these cool
Mm.
characters. We have like binders. We have like backpacks, anime figures, and they want to capitalize on all that money and trying to bring people into those worlds. So if the anime can't somehow like do that efficiently, because that first season is very important to like grasp you like Attack on Titan. But then sometimes they just end up in the case where it's like, oh, it's not making a couple $1 billion. I guess we don't need it, so they just end up cutting it or they just rush it, kind of like I guess like Death Note.
One thing I
Right.
noticed about them is like when I go to like Google, like, hey, is this anime getting a season 2? I find out when Googling that this anime came out 8 years ago, 9 years ago. Like I was like,
Oh
wait, what?
man.
I thought it was like newer one. But like you realize like 8 or 9 years ago we didn't have like Crunchyroll, Verve, Funimation, like all these like streaming websites. So it's really however well they did on whatever TV network they came out on, right? So like if they weren't getting the views on that TV network 9 whatever years ago, then obviously it's gonna suck because now I watch it and I'm like sitting here reading thousands of comments, thousands of ratings. I'm like, what are you talking about? They're not doing well, and I'm like, okay, well, it was from 9 years ago.
Yeah,
So,
back in my day, if you wanted to watch anime, it always came with like a 50% chance of downloading a virus.
That, or you just had to stay up till 11 o'clock.
Also true, but again, it's like, so I think was Toonami really like the first major like network to start like pushing anime?
Toonami. It had Inuyasha,
so. Like here in the West,
Bleach.
Mm-hmm. It had Cowboy Bebop. That's I first watched Cowboy Bebop on Toonami.
Trigun. Did it have Trigun?
Yeah,
I think so. Yeah.
Yep, those types of things. Afro Samurai.
Ooh.
But like the thing I'm thinking about now, because of what Guy said, talking about how like so many people comment, and my brain is kind of electrocuted for a second. That no, I'm not saying anything bad.
Okay.
It's just the wirings going like like light bulb. That sometimes you get anime series these days that do very well only in America. But then like in Japan they don't do well, so they usually still make it because they go, like everyone in America really likes this. And this is going to be controversial to say, but My Hero Academia is sort of like that, where America really loves it, but Japan always kind of differs in popularity for it, where sometimes they're like super into it, but
really?
It just kind of
I saw like a bunch of stuff of like
it's interesting
conventions and like people doing cosplays of My Hero Academia, like a bunch of like in Japan. Like it seemed really popular over there.
Like I'm sure there's like a healthy, scene and viewership for My Hero Academia in Japan.
Oh yeah.
I don't think there's a world where if an anime was only popular in the West that they would continue to like, push out content for that show.
I could counter that because we have we have a series called Ultimate Muscle, which some of you may have heard of if you watched it on the Fox Box, which is the series is called Kinnikuman in Japanese, Kinnikuman Nasai, which is the sequel, and it's a wrestling anime, and it's basically what you would think it would be, but it was never popular in Japan when they brought its like new version out. So it just ended up dying, but everyone in America was like, this is so hype because it came out during the wrestling era where everyone was like, whoa, wrestling. So that anime literally kept getting a Japanese dub and kept getting more anime seasons made because the West was just so obsessed with it. So America essentially saved that anime from dying early.
I stand corrected. Because I was going to say, I'm like, the only other example that kind of comes close would be Ghost Stories. They never made more content because of it, but 100% the reason why people know about that show is because of the audience in the West, specifically because of just the absolute batshit crazy insane dub that they made for that anime. If you want a good laugh, just you got nothing else to do after the show, go watch the English dub of Ghost Stories. I guarantee you will not get through the first couple episodes without
on
just
TikTok. Like I've never seen Ghost Stories, but I've seen some of those dubs on TikTok.
It's so funny.
I thought it was just somebody making a dub for the TikTok,
like in a bridge,
and then I went and looked up the episode.
Yeah,
it was not altered. That was the episode. I was like, "There's no fucking shot right now that this is what got aired."
It's enough.
I thought it was a funny TikTok.
Yeah, no, it's an official dub. Like that's how it went out on like any kind of like DVD, or if it was shared on any kind of like streaming service, that's what the dub was. It's insane. The whole story for like Ghost dubs is just wild. But like it's kind of that, like the story or the show was shit in Japan, nobody liked it over there, and so the studio who made the show was just kind of like desperate for cash, and so they were like, all right, fuck it, let's just ship it overseas and maybe we can make a little bit more money just to try and cut our losses. And so because they didn't really care about the success of the show at that point, they were just trying to make some of their money back. They basically just told the dub studio, like, hey, go wild, do whatever you want. And they go wild, they did.
And I will say, because this will kind of tie into something that I know Basuda wants to do on tonight's episode, the wording in Japanese and the way it's said and things like that matter so much. Like you'll see even in some subs, the subtitles are so far off of what they're actually saying because the American people will just like make it into like an actual English sentence. And then obviously that's gonna get construed even more
Mhm.
into like the dub or whatever, because I was watching this episode on something and it was explaining like when you say certain vowels, or the length that you say a vowel will determine like this word to this word, but they're the exact same word in Japanese. And I was like, holy shit, I'm never gonna learn
Yeah.
Japanese. It's gonna
Oh
take
God,
days.
dude, I'm sure that does remind me of an example, because I took a very basic entry level Japanese course in college. It was part of my GEs. So, every student was required to take a foreign language class for one semester. And I
Mhm.
figured, Japan was offered at my college. I'm like, I might as well take it. So, I learned to say very, very basic, like child elementary phrases, like I could go to Japan and be like, oh, sumimasen, toire doko desu ka? And like, I'm good as long as I can know where to shit. Like I'm happy about that. I'm okay with that. I can
Mhm.
be, I can just like I can say like I was gonna say something about like jitensha no yasai desu, which is like the bike is a vegetable or something like that. Just very basic, again, like childlike words just strung together. But there was one, and I'm sure Paddles, you can help me out here because I forgot the word.
Oh man.
But it's what it's what Guy was talking about. How like a slight difference in pronunciation changes the meaning of the word. There is a word in Japanese that's spelled almost exactly the same way, where one meaning is like hair salon and then the other one means hospital. And I forgot the word. I don't know if you know what it is,
I
Paddles.
have an idea of what you're talking about, but I can't like think of
It's
the
like
word because
it's
when
like
it comes to like Japanese vowels and stuff, like it's still really difficult for my brain to grasp that stuff.
hold on, let me see. Okay, the Japanese word for hospital is byoin, and then hair salon is myoin. That's what it is. Okay. So yeah, they're both very similar. Might not have even detected any differences between the two words I just said. There is a very minor difference, and again, it's funny to me because I'm like, what if I get into an accident in Japan, and I'm like asking for help, and I accidentally tell people to take me to the hair salon as I'm bleeding out or something. You got to be very careful with your pronunciation.
Oh yeah.
I think the reason why the Japanese language is like that is because a lot of the way their words are constructed, uh, they take on like a very literal meaning, and you kind of have to interpret what the
'Cause
word means in
a
order
lot
to
of
kind of
it's
get the context. Yeah.
a lot of it's super dependent, from my understanding, on the writing, like the
Mm-hmm.
actual physical writing, because each symbol or character has like a specific meaning. Like
Yep.
Yeah.
boom, 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 boom. You put those together, and then that makes that mean this. Like,
Right. And
because I know you
actually,
got the kanji,
yeah.
the three different. I
Oh,
don't
dude, I
remember.
hated learning kanji. I hated learn. That was my least
There's three
favorite
different
part.
ones. What are the three called?
There's
There's
three
kanji.
alphabets. There's kanji, hiragana, and katakana. Hiragana and katakana are more similar to like um our alphabet, where it's like a sound, where each
Hmm.
individual character is a sound. So you put the different sounds together, and then boom. Kanji is the one you're thinking of, where it's like one symbol is one entire word. That one sucks because that's
But
like
can't.
kanji is
Uh,
just like copy paste from China, and like
mhm.
I don't remember, there's like 20,000 kanji or some insane
Oh
number like
yeah.
that. Yeah, and it's just
So
I
isn't there like, because I know this might not be true. This might just
Mhm.
be the weeboo coming out of me. But is it true that like you can have people with similar names, like almost same names, but they use different symbols? Because I know like sometimes people will be like, "Oh, what's your name?" And they'll say their name and like, "Oh, how do you write that? Like what
Mm.
symbols or like what meanings do you use?" Right? Is that a thing, Paddle? Is that true, or
Hmm.
is that
I
just
feel like
fucking?
it. I feel like it could be with how goofy, like how like goofy the language could be, especially in the written way. But I can't like actually confirm because I've never met anybody like in Japan who has like done anything like that. Because usually like, oh, my name
Mm.
is this, and I go, okay. But I've never really thought about that actually.
Gotcha. It's just something I've seen come up in like I don't even know. Like I've seen a couple of them in animes, but I've also seen it come up in some like actual like K-drama shows that fucking my girlfriend made me watch and like other shit like that. So I didn't know if that was just for the show or if that's like actually true and like, you know what I'm saying? So it's just one of those things.
Hey, at least you're asking the question, not going, well, anime, it said it's real.
Anime isn't real? What do you mean?
Of course it's real. It's real like Santa Claus.
It's real to me. Damn it. All right. Well, while we were on the topic of like the Japanese language, I actually do want to test Guy a little bit. So what we want to do on this podcast is we want to do some like radio host style games from time to time. So I think this is a great opportunity to try out our first like on air game. So here's what we're gonna play. I call this game Weeb Words. I'm gonna give you a series of Japanese words, and I want to test your knowledge of the language, how much of a weeb you are, and I want you to try and give me the definition of it. Now, all these words that I've picked, I'll tell you right now, they're like very highly specific things that don't really have English translations.
What? I guess words that don't even have English translations.
If you've watched anime at all, like you'll probably know. It's like you'll see what I mean. However, we do have Paddles here, so feel free to ask him for any kind of help. Paddles,
man,
just don't.
I'm gonna be bad at this.
Don't worry.
My brain's gonna be frying a bit.
Let's just go ahead and give it a shot, all right? And then we'll see how it goes. So here's
I'll get you with mine. Don't worry.
Okay, so the first word that I want you to try and guess the meaning of is kabedon.
A motherfucker.
I think. Do you know what that means?
No, I fucking don't even recognize that word. It's not even like one that I feel like I've heard in a fucking anime. Kabedon.
Kabedon. Yeah.
Kabedon.
Mm-hmm.
Fucking.
I have a feeling that like, because I kind of know what this is. I kind of think that you've definitely seen it before.
Yes.
Like 100%.
Okay. Are we gonna do how many? Can I ask like questions to try and like narrow it down?
Sure, but the only thing Paddles is not allowed to give you is like anything that has like the direct definition.
No, I know. I was just gonna ask, like, is it something you find in like a household?
Yeah, I guess.
That doesn't help me at all. I was expecting no, it's something you see outside, or no, it's something you see inside your house.
I guess I could say like both.
Okay.
You see outside.
Is it something that you can hold in your hand?
No.
Fuck. Is it larger than a car?
At times, yes.
So it can be outside or inside, and sometimes it can be larger than a car. Holy shit, this is not helping me at all.
I'm bad at this, so don't worry.
It's okay.
I think Paddles already led you slightly astray, unintentionally.
Did he?
I buy it. Yeah, because like I'm not good at directing people.
All right, well, there's more words. Fucking give me this one. Okay,
so
I call it.
So the problem is you thought this was an object. It's not an object.
That's right. Yeah.
Is
So
it a person? A police officer?
It's more of like it's like an action. So a kabedon,
action.
Yeah, it's a word to use to describe like a moment, whether in real life or an anime or story or whatever, where a man like kind of pushes his hand up against a wall next to a woman, like in a very like kind of romantic way,
flirting, like
yeah, exactly that exact kind of.
You gave me a moment in time word.
Mm-hmm.
Are you fucking kidding me?
Mm-hmm. Well, that's what I wanted to do. I wanted to choose words that highlight things that are very common in the Japanese language that we don't really have. Like, we don't have a single word for that. We have to use a bunch of different words to like describe stuff. Whereas Japan, they just go like, oh, that thing. Yeah. Here's the word for that entire scenario.
We just say that man's putting on Riz.
Exactly. Yeah, sure. Kabedon is just a Japanese Riz, if you want to think of it that way.
All right, cool. Hit me with your next one, you fucker.
All right, next word. Fujoshi.
Oh, man.
Fujoshi. Okay, well, I'll just start with this then. Is it an object?
No.
I feel like I should ask Basuna.
Yeah, because like my brain knows what it is, but like I think of like many things of like, well, I could say yes, but I could also say no.
Okay, so not an object.
I'll tell you right now, it's a weighted, it's a description.
It's a description.
Yeah,
Okay.
it describes. I'll say it describes someone. Even that's already like a bit too much, but sure.
Describes someone, so like
Mhm.
it describes someone specific, or describes like general people. Fujoshi describes somebody. Does it describe something that somebody's doing, or does it just describe their appearance?
Battles.
Anyone?
And I just want
Bueller?
to say like, neither.
Neither.
Yeah, I can see that.
Okay. Does it describe somebody's emotion? Their
Yeah.
like facial expressions?
I can say it's an emotion, sure.
Yeah, he's getting there.
Okay. Uh, is it like similar to being like flustered or like I don't know another word for flustered.
Oh man, because like in a way, yeah.
Embarrassed like
I feel like
Like I kind of want to like say,
yeah.
but like it's so hard without like not giving you a hint, because I know like the thing I'm thinking about wanting to say, I knew would give it away immediately. So it's hard.
Yeah. Now I know what you're talking about.
Fuck, I don't know. Go ahead. Let's go.
Give up?
Yep, let's
All
keep going.
All right.
He's about to learn.
A fujoshi. The literal translation is rotten girl, and this is used to describe female fans of manga, anime, and novel that feature romantic relationships between men. Basically, yaoi degenerates. It's those fangirls that like anime because it's gay. Specifically that.
Yeah.
Like if there's
you might have also heard it be called as boys love.
Mhm.
Like the other term is what they call it too.
Oh,
So if
interesting.
you've
Yeah,
you've ever watched or heard of Yuri on Ice, great show, but there are a lot of female fans of Yuri on Ice that like it not because it's a great story and a great show, but specifically because they just like to see gay boys doing gay boy things.
All right.
And so those are fujoshis.
Haikyuu fan.
Okay.
those are fujoshis.
You are giving me a challenge right now. Holy shit.
Yeah, I thought you would have been a little, because they're gonna get. I went from easiest to hardest.
Easy my fucking ass.
They're gonna get harder.
What?
All right.
I was expecting objects or people or like.
I'm not gonna give
I don't
you. I'm not gonna give. Okay, yeah, sure. What does fucking ramen mean? Oh, it's a meal. Whoa.
All right, fuck you. Keep going.
All right, let me give you.
Apparently, I need to step it up.
I'm. These might be too hard to be honest.
Basura's calculating his mistakes.
Yeah, there's
right
not.
Fucking.
I thought you were a bit more of a weeb, to be honest.
Bro, I don't study the language.
All right.
See, my mod over here is Japanese. He's literally part Japanese and takes Japanese classes, and he fucking doesn't even know half these words. He hasn't gotten either of these words yet.
Unlucky, not weeb enough. Get good, get better.
Not weeb enough.
All right. Let me. All right. Let me give you a maybe easier one. I'll give you like some hints to try and steer you in the right direction. This next one is Yoko Meshi. Okay.
Yoko Meshi.
And I will tell you right now, it is like, like a genre of food. I just want you to try to see if you can figure out what it is.
Genre of food.
Yes.
Yoko Meshi. Is that like kebabs?
You wouldn't be entirely wrong about that.
like when you put certain like meats and other things like on a stick, like kebab style,
I
or
feel
barbecue, or, like that word sounds familiar. Like that is the first word
yeah.
you give me that actually sounds somewhat familiar.
Okay,
And
so
like I
okay.
can't help think about like when you say that about like barbecue things, like in my mind,
Mm,
like beef and other types of things just like pop into my mind.
you're heading in the right direction, surprisingly.
Like like that's where my brain goes, and I'm like, okay, well,
I can give you one more hint. I can give you the literal translation, then see if you can make like the connection to what kind of food it is.
okay,
So Yoko Meshi, the literal translation is horizontal meal.
horizontal meal.
Mm-hmm.
Meh.
Paddles, do you know this?
I kind of feel like I could just say it, but I'm not sure if that'd be correct or not. But then if I say it, Guy would just immediately know what it is. It's from
Yeah.
the weak words.
Yeah, I've given him as much hints as I can for this without just
Like
outright
my
saying
brain
it.
doesn't go anywhere else. Like even when you say that, I just think of like the only other thing I can think of is like sushi. Like, but I don't think it's sushi.
Yeah, because sushi in Japan, I think,
Yeah,
correct me
just
if I'm wrong,
sushi.
Paddles, I think is just sushi.
But like everything else, I just think of like slices of meat and things just laid out. Fucking, I don't fucking know. Go ahead, let's go. Let's hear it. I
So,
just think of kebabs and
hor-
fucking meat on.
Yoko Meshi is used to describe horizontal meals such as sandwiches, hamburgers, hot dogs. It's basically Japanese slang for like Western food. Because when you think about it, a lot of the food we
Okay.
eat here in America is very like long and lengthy and horizontal.
Okay.
I a kebab, which is the example you gave of, yeah, it could be like a barbecue Southern Texan style kebab
Yeah,
could
like
technically be a Yoko Meshi in Japan.
It could be a corn dog.
yeah, I don't know
Yeah, a
why, but
corn
like
dog.
when you said yokomeshi, like instantly like barbecue and food like started to pop into my head. Like
Mhm.
I've heard that word before, and like
You've
I feel like I've
learned-
seen
you're
it
learning from
while
anime.
like
Mhm.
watching food shit. So I'm like, okay. Like before you even gave me the description, the genre of food, I was already thinking food. I was like, okay,
Food.
wait.
Okay. Well, okay, that's
I was like,
good.
wait,
All right.
I knew that one. Kinda, not really, obviously, but
All right. I won't torture you anymore. I had 8. But we'll do only 4. We'll do just half of them because I honestly thought you'd be a little better at this. So this will be the last one. All right.
all right.
The
fair.
last word I need you to define is bukkake.
The way you're laughing means you know what it is.
Wait, why is that
Is it-
funny?
Isn't it like shit or ass or something?
No.
Cocky? No? Wait, am I
What?
dumb? I don't know. Wait, I know. Bro, I know this.
I'm sure you do.
Wait, am I dumb? I'm so fucking dumb. Hold on.
I like Basura's face.
Bro, don't give me that face. Stop. Don't look at me like that. Don't look at me like that.
Lady X Files theme.
No. Bro, now I just feel embarrassed. Just fucking. I don't even want to. No, go. Just tell me. I don't even want to. Nope.
I
don't want
have
it.
no
I've embarrassed
clue.
myself enough.
Wait, you said shit and ass? I was trying to give you another food one, bro. Bukkake is used in Japanese cooking to describe the act of pouring out a liquid with enough momentum to cause splashing or spilling. It's used for dishes such as bukkake udon and bukkake soba, which is where they, drop a hot broth, they pour a hot broth over noodles. What the fuck were you thinking, bro? What was your line of thinking? I tried to give you. I tried to give you another food one because the food one you were kind of close. So I was like, I'll give him another. I'll give him another food one. Maybe he'll get this one.
Bro, you gave me another action. I don't know fucking action. The act of pouring so it splashes. All right, my bad.
Yeah, I was
should've
like,
done that.
I don't know, man. You went to a Japanese ramen shop recently. I'm like, maybe they had bukkake udon or bukkake soba on there.
Oh man,
Bro. You said okay. I have a question. Is there a different word? Is there a difference between bukkake and bukkake?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, because I keep hearing you say bukkake, and then when you're talking about the meals, you say bukkake ramen. Like you keep saying bukkake. I'm like, wait.
This would go back into the conversation where they sound very similar, like hospital and hair salon.
Yeah, that's why I put it on there.
You motherfucker.
Yeah, I was just like praying so hard that guy would say the other one.
Yeah.
It was a trap, but he got
Oh my god.
All right. All right. Well, you said you also wanted to like test my Japanese knowledge, so I'll sit.
Yeah,
I'll sit in the hot seat
I'm glad
now.
I didn't
Yeah.
say the other one, paddle snake, because I just looked it up out of curiosity.
Oh, God.
Yeah, no.
yeah.
Oh, no.
You looked it up. Uh-oh.
You're not screen sharing, right? Yeah.
Oh, I looked it
Incognito
up on
mode.
my
I
phone-
hope.
On my phone. I looked it up on my phone. It's okay.
All right.
Okay.
Well, I'm gonna go in the hot seat now, I guess. So you
Yeah,
can test
okay,
my
alright.
knowledge.
So now for my little quiz for Basuda, you guys
Mhm.
can all kind of play along. We're gonna play kind of a game of factor cap. Pretty simple. I'm gonna say a law, and you're just gonna determine whether it is or is not actually a law in Japan.
Okay. Got it.
All right.
I don't know any of these, so I can't.
Hands up. I'm not googling.
All right.
I'm playing for legit for fairsies.
All right. It
Hit me
is
with it.
illegal
Mm-hmm.
to put ice cream in a mailbox.
That's cap.
No one's gonna stop me from doing that.
Adel, what's your vote? Factor cap.
Oh man, I'm just gonna agree with Buster on this one.
I think
Cap?
it's cap.
It is
Yeah.
fact. Putting
What?
ice cream in a mailbox may sound like a harmless prank, but in Japan, you may be imprisoned for up to 5 years or fined a
Jesus.
maximum of 500,000 yen.
I knew there were gonna be weird laws, but I thought you were gonna try to catch me off rip. Oh my god.
Nah, why would I do that? Not but that 5 years in prison for ice
That's
cream
insane.
in a mailbox.
That's
Like,
insane.
come on. All right. Where was the other one I wanted to do? All right. Oh, this one. It is illegal to hand your neighbor back their mismailed mail. So, like, you know how when you sometimes get your neighbor's mail and you go give it back to them? It's illegal to do that in Japan.
I know it's not illegal here.
I would kind of want to say that it would be in Japan. I can think of like many reasons why it could be.
I want to say that's real, but also I feel like my head's getting messed with right now.
Your brain is overdriving. Don't think about it too hard.
I'm gonna say that like in Japan, if you notice that the mail is wrong, you have to just kind of like leave it there, and then like the postman will figure, they'll come back to correct their mistake, because that feels like the Japanese thing to do, right? To like let the people do their jobs and fix their own mistakes. Maybe, I don't know. So I'm gonna say that's real. I'm gonna say that you do go to prison if you give your neighbor back mismailed mail.
And paddles?
Yeah, no, I'd agree.
All right, you guys are correct. That is, in fact, true.
Okay.
You have to send it back to the post office and let them refix it.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
See? All right.
Yeah,
All right.
'cause I was just thinking about it. Like, you know what? Like, you probably would get in trouble because they're just gonna stare at you. Like, what do you have my mail in the first place?
My line of thinking is like, if it's okay in America, it's probably not okay in Japan. So,
Gotcha.
all right, next one.
All right. It is illegal for Japanese citizens between the ages of 40 and 74 to have their waistlines measured annually.
Why is this so specific?
Yeah, I feel like that's not true.
Yeah, I would say it's not.
I think
true.
it's a
This is
trick.
really specific.
No,
Remember, I said
or-
it's illegal.
Or it's a trick question, and there is a law like that, but the ages are different.
Oh man.
Because why would it be 40 to 70? What if you're older than 70? Then it's suddenly legal. Like it's legal, and then it's illegal for a part of your life, and then it's legal again. I feel like that might not be correct. I'm gonna say that's cap.
Yeah, I'll say it's cap.
It's cap, but not for the reason you said. So
Oh?
I just reworded it. So it's
Okay.
actually Japanese citizens between the ages of 40 and 74 have to. Like, it is a legal mandate to have their waistlines measured annually.
Oh, how do they do
Because-
that? Like a
So
like a
if they
physical or
reach
something?
above a certain amount, it's to fight
Mhm.
obesity. If they reach above a
Mm.
certain amount, companies will arrange for them to take weight loss classes. They will also, some of their, where'd it go?
Government mandated Weight Watchers?
Yeah, straight
Bro.
up. There was something about finding their jobs or facilities if they're overweight and things like that.
No,
I
thanks, dude.
lost that part, but
No, thank
yeah,
you. I'll
no.
just go on the grind myself, man. Hitting every single day, getting them gains. Let's go,
Yep.
brother. I don't need no government to tell me what to do.
So from the age of 40 to 74, you get your waistline measured annually.
That's
The
crazy.
measurements for men are 85.9 centimeters, 85.09 centimeters, and 89.92 centimeters for women.
Wow,
You go-
that's probably it's one of those things you don't super think about, but now that you do mention it, I'm like, anytime I've seen any kind of like footage of people in Japan, you almost never see anyone like really obese. You'll see some people, little chubby kids, maybe a old man, a little overweight, but you don't see anybody that's like really, really obese in Japan. And I guess that's why. I guess it's because if you get too fat over there, the prime minister comes to your house and gives you a gym membership.
Here, go work out.
Yeah,
Well, cool.
Oh.
Fitness Express.
I guess. I don't know how ethical that would be, but I mean, I understand it.
Okay. This one. It is legal to do cloning tests in Japan. You can clone in Japan. Let's just say that.
My brain kind of says that I would believe it because Japan is always like tinkering with something because they are like super advanced in their society, and when it comes to stuff like that, I would believe it.
Okay, here's my possibly stupid reasoning for my answer.
Mhm.
I think that it is legal, and because it's legal, a few people in their life have had experiences with like sending their DNA to be cloned or like at least experimented on, and then maybe they grew up to be like manga writers, and they were like, oh, what if I turn that experience into a show? And they make a whole anime about like clones and shit. Because there's a couple anime out there about like, cloning and whatnot. So I'm kind of thinking that like maybe it is legal and that is the inspiration behind some stories like that. So I'm going to say that's fact. I'm going to say it is legal to clone.
You are both incorrect. It is illegal for human cloning in Japan since 2001. It can carry up to 10 years in prison or 10 million yen fine.
Oh my God, that's only like 10 grand here.
In US dollars, that is 94,600.
Oh, 100 grand. Never mind. I forgot. I took too many zeros off.
All right, I got one more for you. This one's a little interesting.
All right. I'm going to get this one.
All right. It is illegal to damage another country's flag in Japan in any way, shape, or form, but totally legal to damage Japanese flag in Japan.
That's cap.
Yeah, I kind of want to say that's cap.
That's cap.
That is 100% legal.
What?
You are allowed to damage, butcher, burn the Japanese flag, but you are not allowed to publicly damage another country's flag.
Oh my God.
That's insane, actually.
Does Japan have some... Are they like masochists over there or what? Like, yeah, sure did.
I don't know.
You know what? Yeah, you're right. You're right.
This follow-up one, like you can't damage another country's flag, but you're also not allowed to have a walkie-talkie from another country.
That's
like you're
crazy.
only allowed to have a walkie-talkie made in Japan.
I thought that would have been cap because I'm like, I thought it would have been either it's legal to damage any flag or it's illegal to damage all flags. I didn't think there'd be like it's okay for other countries, or sorry, it's okay for us but not okay for other countries. That's so weird.
Yeah.
I guess it's like they want to respect. That's what I was thinking. I was just like, okay, they probably want to respect other countries of the world. That makes sense, but it's like the added caveat of like, oh, by the way, it's okay to burn the Japanese flag. That's so weird. That would never fly here in the States. Absolutely not. I feel like it'd be the opposite. I feel like in America, it'd be encouraged to burn other countries' flags and then frowned upon to burn your own, How many like old people on Facebook do you see bitching whenever there's a video of like somebody stomping an American flag? Oh, but you bet, Grandma Ruth would like hoot and holler if someone was burning like a Russian flag or something. God damn. There's
Yeah,
no
don't forget, chats. Keep in mind, me and Basoto will be taking a trip to Japan next summer. Be ready for that IRL
Wait,
stream.
do we do that? Do we say that? Do we agree to that?
Yes.
I don't have the finances for that.
I just signed you up. I said next summer. It's fine.
Oh
You'll
God!
you'll
Quick,
figure it out.
everybody, make sure to subscribe. I need to buy that plane ticket.
Now, if Basoto ends up in jail, just know it's because he doesn't know what's factor cap.
Oh, God.
He accidentally
Okay.
left the ice cream bar in the mailbox.
that probably would be the thing that get me. Of all the laws we just went over, that's going to be the one that lands
Now,
me.
can I ask
in
why
jail.
would you put an ice cream in a mailbox?
Because it's funny. Could you imagine someone going out to get their mail and they like stick their, because it's a mailbox and you just stick your hand in there, and then instead of mail they got Neapolitan all over their fingers.
All right. Well, I hope you have the money because that's a $4,700 US fine.
Okay,
Or
maybe I'll just
500
eat.
Ice
Maybe
cream better be worth it.
maybe I'll just eat the ice cream. Fuck it, dude. Whatever.
Oh,
It's
you
not
know,
that funny.
eat
It's not
the
that
ice
funny.
cream. Who'd have thought
Oh,
it?
yeah,
Who'd have
yeah.
thought
It's
that
not
was
that
an
funny.
idea?
I wonder if it's something extremely specific for them to just make a law like that. Like maybe it just happened to someone who's like a big cheese over in Japan.
Well, that happened in California. Like here, it's illegal to fill your bathtub with oranges.
What?
Yeah.
I'm glad I do not live in
Why?
California then.
I do not remember, but I think someone did that, and then all like the acidity from the oranges that they just left in there
Mhm.
caused like really bad damage to the city's like plumbing infrastructure. And so it's just one of those things where like someone did it and it had really bad consequences, so they just made it illegal to do that. I don't think like no one goes to your house and checks your bathroom to see if there's any oranges in there, you know?
I'm gonna report you. I'm gonna report you. Send
There's
me
no
Snapchat.
oranges.
You know you're
I don't have
talking.
oranges in my bathtub.
They got oranges in there.
I don't.
Oranges in there. Oh, no.
Fake news.
Now, there was one other thing I wanted to kind of just bring up because last week we kind of talked about that game show, and I found some other interesting game shows.
Oh no.
Some of them aren't around anymore.
Man.
There's this one that really caught my eye. It's called Orgasm Wars.
What?
It started airing in 2013 and aired from 2013 to 2020, and which is when it kind of caught the Western world.
Right.
But pretty much the basis of this show is where'd he go? The goal of Orgasm Wars was for a homosexual male to make a heterosexual male orgasm
Femboys.
on stage.
Femboys.
Like literally, you can just see him. The picture that it shows is a man down on his knees with a naked man standing up, and they're behind just a little box that pretty much only covers the face and the like hip area. That's all it covers.
Easiest dub for femboys I've ever heard of.
It's like what?
Yeah,
And then-
those fake Go fans are gonna live it up.
There's this other one called the Bum Game. A model
no.
puts her bum in a cement or plastic barrier with 2 holes cut for her derriere. The person behind the barrier uses anything needed to evaluate the model, including kissing. After a set amount of time, the models then stand in a line. The men come around and have to identify which model's butt they were messing with.
Is this a game show or a fucking porno shoot?
That's what I'm trying to figure out.
Because he's like, if you said that was Japanese porn, totally believable. I'd probably watch that. But a game show that like broadcasts on TV, like, are there channels that just straight up show like bare ass that are like publicly nationally syndicated in Japan? What the fuck?
I mean, then there's these other ones that aren't so sexually oriented that I'm sure you might have seen. There's like the slippery stairs. These people in suits are trying to fight their way up these
Oh, I
silky
love that one.
stairs.
I've always wanted to like do that game show live. Like if I'm
There's
ever
that.
like a really big streamer, I want to do that exact game show and like invite other streamers on.
Obviously, that castle climb one where they fucking have to fight their way
Yeah.
through people and the falling. Like, there's those ones, but
That was
like,
great.
I literally just looked up top 10 weirdest Japanese game shows, and these were 2 of the ones that popped up. There's man eats spaghetti in a dryer. Like they literally turn the dryer on, and have it off, and he has to eat fucking spaghetti. And you just see him getting tossed around like a fucking rag doll. I'm
Oh
like,
my
what
God.
the? How do you win? Like,
Eat all the
not make a
spaghetti.
mess?
That's
Like,
crazy.
yeah.
Like,
So I was
like,
just
that's
curious.
I mean, sometimes
I
they
was
have good
curious.
ideas. I think there was a Japanese game show that eventually got like an American adaptation. It was like called
Silent
Hole in the
Library.
Wall.
Oh,
Is that
Hole
the
in the
one?
Wall, yeah.
Oh, yeah. I was thinking
Silent
Hole in the
Library
Wall.
too.
There's
That's
also
another one, yeah.
Silent Library too.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So, sometimes our ideas are pretty fun, pretty unique enough
Silent
to get,
Library
like,
was actually
adaptation
super
stuff.
funny to watch when
Oh
I was
yeah.
younger. It was great. Yo, we should do that on stream one day.
Well,
Silent
since you
Library
talked about
episode.
us, since you talked about us going to Japan, what would you want to do then? Like,
I was
when we go to Japan?
actually so I guess it would depend on the time of year because I
Hmm.
know there are certain places that are better to go during times of year. So I'm not really sure exactly at the current moment.
Fair
I
enough.
know one place that I'd really love to visit is Kyoto. Like this
Ooh.
massive bamboo jungle. Just looks super nice, super pretty.
Paddles, if
I'd
you
love
had
to
to get,
check out a couple
oh,
temples, but
okay. I want to know what Paddles thinks. Like, if you were to recommend, like, places to visit to people in Japan, what would you recommend? Or what would you want to go see yourself?
I mean, I'm a little bit biased, I guess. I would just want to go to Hokkaido because that's where some of my family's at, and I just want to go and
Oh,
visit them and stuff.
all the snake, all the
Yeah,
snakes.
oh,
Snake
the
from the
family.
other
snake
side.
family.
Yeah.
I want to go to Sapporo and just get fucking wasted at the Sapporo beer factory.
Mhm.
It's my favorite imported beer. So, for all the Basuda fans out there, write that down for the next what is it? Basuda Kahoot. What's Basuda's favorite imported beer? Sapporo. Sapporo beer.
Well, I am glad to at least hear both of you have very realistic answer.
Yeah, we're not. I mean, like, yes, I want to go check out a maid cafe in Akihabara, but like, that's not the only thing I see Japan as. I try to respect
Bro,
the.
they have berries. Let's
Yeah, I
go.
want to check out like Kyoto for like they have like
Yeah,
a
I
super
want
cool
to check out
bamboo
the.
jungle, lots of
Mhm.
temples, lots of
I want to check out the
cool
culture,
old
the
buildings to
people, the
check out.
food. I don't want to just be like another fucking American
Bro,
weeb.
anime is the culture.
Now, obviously, we would go check out some of the cities, that
Yes,
Oh
are
yeah.
like they
Tokyo,
have just
100%.
anime corners and
Mhm.
fucking big neon lights, and you feel like you're in Vegas or fucking, obviously we would do that, but that's the nighttime thing. What
Yeah.
happens at night stays there.
Fair. I do want to like ask Paddles though, because like we're kind of touching on that subject right now. I feel that like a lot of especially Western like anime fans, weebs, I think they
Oh,
forget
man.
that Japan is a real place
Yeah.
with like
no,
real
absolutely.
regular people. Like, what do you think about
Yeah.
all that?
Oh man, you want to ask me what I think about that? Oh no! Oh
He's
no!
about
I
to
feel like
hate on all of
I
us.
feel
He's
like
about
we
to
haven't
shit on
had
us.
It'll be like
enough.
9 hours.
Like I mean, like we're wrapping up. Like we're nearing the end of the podcast episode. I feel like there hasn't been enough controversy for the Japan episode. So
I'm gonna get in
I'm like,
trouble.
what do you think about those filthy American
Oh
weebs that
God.
only view Japan as like the anime factory?
Well, the one thing I will say to very quickly clarify, if you just really like anime or just otaku culture, I think that's completely fair and fine. Like you're allowed to like what you want. But on the other end, I also feel like it's really I don't want to say like dumb or insane. It's just really weird to view Japan as just nothing but anime and manga and whatever else because I've always read stories of people essentially disliking Japan the moment they go to Japan, thinking like, "Oh, I'm gonna go here. There's gonna be Detective Conan statues everywhere. I'm gonna meet Goku.
I'm gonna
in
go
person."
find all the big huggable Pikachus that are just
Yeah.
walking the
The
streets.
50-foot tall match or Gundam, 50-foot tall
Yeah, I'm
Gundam.
gonna see the Gundam and I'm gonna pilot it, and then I'm going to be like, "Oh, they want Gundamuda," right? It's like, no, like, you're gonna end up in Japan and it's just gonna be a pretty normal place. People are just going to get food, they're going to work, they're just chilling.
Mhm.
But people just, I don't know, they just see Japan and they just get like Paris syndrome is like sort of what it's called if you don't know what that is.
Yeah, no,
But, like,
I'm very aware.
yeah, but to just to clarify in case no one knows what it is, that's like what Japan sees when they go to Paris.
Mhm.
Because they think of Paris as so beautiful and there's romance, roses are blooming everywhere. It's the most beautiful place on earth. And if they go there, the first thing they see is a rat squatting and just taking
There's
a
like
dump somewhere.
there's trash
That's just what
piles
it
like
is.
lining the streets, and everyone is like really rude and racist in Paris.
Yeah.
I've heard not very many good things actually about Paris. I hear
No,
at nighttime it's great. You get the lights, the romance, and like the dinners are super fancy. But during the day, people are just like, "Fuck
I
you."
think if you're not like a French native and you go to Paris, you want to just do like museums, go check out restaurants, and like just kind of stay in your lane. And I feel like a lot of people need to do the same when they like visit Japan, you know? I think if you try to like if you have this like ideal image in your head, you're gonna be kind of like let down when you realize, oh shit, it's just like a place.
Everyone's
that
gonna
goes
have
for any
Naruto
country.
headbands.
Oh my
I feel like
God.
any country, you need to do like
Well,
some
yeah,
matter
no,
of
that happens
research.
here.
Like you
That
need to have
happens.
some like
Yeah, that happens
awareness
here.
to their culture,
Yes,
their
yes.
language, so that you have some idea of like, okay, reading certain things or communicating like when you need help for something, like
Yeah.
instead of like sitting there stumbling upon your words and not fucking be able to communicate and just fucking having a shitty time. You need to be able to like, hey, we're looking for this, and like understand when they tell you where to fucking go, or you know, all those different things. Like
It's
people
not
that
even
just
always
travel to travel and don't do any type of research piss me off.
It's not even like a language thing, guy. It happens here in SoCal. You have a lot of people that have this like idealized version of LA in their minds, you know? And I think I've talked about this before, but it's kind of like a lot of people think they go to LA and they're going to see like celebrities every corner, that it's this like amazing, sunshiny place where like nothing is wrong. And it's just like, bro, like I live here. And this is just like a normal place. You just have like normal ass. I'm just a gamer, dude. I'm like, I just happen to be here. And I feel like I have to keep that in mind. Like people should keep that in mind when visiting places like Paris, when visiting places like Japan, that there's just going to be like regular people that to them, this isn't some like crazy tourist destination. It's just where they live, where they grew up.
Mhm.
So,
But
like, I kind of want to ask both of you a question.
Go for it.
Why do you think people in America see Japan in that way? Where they
I
just
think-
over hyper fixate on it?
I think it's very much because a lot of their favorite things come from there. Because, you know, anime, video games, like a lot of, you know, you got Nintendo, Sony, etc., right? And so I think it's just because of the hobbies and like entertainment that they like tends to all come from this one place. To them, it's got to be kind of like a Disneyland of sorts, where it's supposed to be this like magical place that like is crazy and you know, but it's not. It's just another country with like regular everyday people. I think that's why they idealize it and they put Japan on a pedestal, because there's so many problems with Japan. And I know Paddle's like, you're very much aware of the problems in Japan, but from like a foreigner perspective, we tend to put Japan on a pedestal because it's responsible for a lot of the things that bring us joy in our lives, you know? And so again, like I said, it's the Disneyland thing, where if you grow up your whole life watching Disney movies, right, buying Disney products, watching Disney shows, you want to go to Disneyland. You're before you go, you're imagining this like amazing magical place, and then when you actually go, it's like a line simulator, and there's like an angry mother and a child crying behind you like for 45 minutes, you know? And so I feel like Japan is kind of the same thing in that, where a lot of people are going to be disappointed if they don't kind of give themselves a reality check before going, which is why, you know, for our trip that I guess we're apparently going to next year now, I'm trying to temper my expectations and, you know, be realistic, you know, like, yeah, I also want to go check out some of those cool temples. I want to go to like a beer factory, not because it's like the Japanese beer factory, but because it's my favorite imported beer, you know,
I'm
things
not
like
gonna
that.
lie, I want to check out a Japanese arcade because I know for a fucking fact that Japanese arcades are fucking top of the line. Like
I
that
need
is
to try
not
my
next.
hand.
That is,
Oh,
I
yeah.
know
Yeah.
that. I
The
know that for a
claw
fact.
machines, dude. I gotta try my hands at those claw machines. I have to. I've seen so many YouTube videos, hours and hours of claw machine content. Low key addicted to that.
To check out some of those arcade videos where Japanese gamers are raging in like the Gundam fighting games, because they absolutely lose it when they play that.
But yeah, so I don't know. I would say my biggest thing with that is people just use anything, like whether it's Japan or whatever, use anything as like an escape from their reality. Like that's just human nature. You want to get away from whatever you can. So whether you're in your books or you're in your movies, your animes, your shows, whatever you're watching, whenever you hear about or see things that seem better than what you have currently, you're going to put it on a pedestal. And then obviously, if you don't have that reality check that, hey, this is real life, like nothing really anywhere in the world is just that much better. It's always just depends on perspective. Then you're going to fucking get cucked. And that's just how it's going to be for anything, right?
True.
People believe LA because, oh, you go to
Yeah.
LA to make your dreams come true, become a big star, yada, and then you go there and you fucking get shit on and end up homeless. Like,
it's not that crazy. I think the craziest thing celebrity wise that anyone in my family, I had a cousin that pissed next to Ray Liotta once, and that was it. It's like the craziest like celebrity story. They were just at the same bar.
Highlight.
They were just at the same bar one night in LA, and they just went in the bathroom, and like he just looked over. He was like, "Oh, is that Ray Liotta?" It is, but he didn't say anything. He didn't say anything. They just kept pissing because it doesn't matter if it's a celebrity next to you. You do not talk to the other man who is pissing next to you. You shouldn't even make eye contact. Honestly, he was pushing it a little bit.
True.
All right. Where would you like recommend paddles if like we're going to Japan? What is one thing you think we absolutely have to like check out that we may not have already mentioned?
Man. Well, dang, because I'm a little bit of a little retro gamer, if some of you might know. I would say definitely hit up like a retro shop or check out a place called Book Off. And there's also one called Hard Off. It's because like Japanese stores are so different compared to Western ones, especially when it comes to like electronic media. Because I'm sure some of you have seen images of just like walls and walls and walls of just Nintendo cartridges everywhere. Because that stuff's real. That's not like just one store. It's like a good portion of stores. And it's just always interesting to see all the history there, and I find that personally very fascinating.
Okay, so Book Off it was called?
Yeah, Book Off or Hard Off.
Yeah, jerk off. Book Off.
I mean, hard off is closed, but all right, write that down. Write that down, guy, because I have the memory. I have the memory of a goldfish. I'm gonna forget as soon as this show's over.
I'm just gonna message it to you.
Okay, yeah, Book Off.
Book Off.
Book Off and Hard Off.
Book Off. I forgot an F.
Wait, hold on.
They're like recycle shops, basically.
Oh yeah.
Well, that was a good talk. Appreciate you being here tonight, Paddles. It was pretty fun.
No,
I hate Bastada for making me feel like a fucking idiot, but it's fine.
I honestly thought you would have done a little bit better. I'm sorry. I guess you're just not weeb enough, man.
I'm just
my bad.
Dumb, okay? My brain no worky unless I'm shooting shit, all right? We know this.
I'll make sure the next time I have an on-air radio game for you to play, I'll run it by a kindergartner first, okay? Well, is that better?
Yes,
so you
please.
don't. Okay, I'll make
you
sure
know the old game. Are you smarter than a fifth grader? Yeah, take that back to like third grade or second grade Japanese words. Okay.
Okay, I'll be sure to channel my inner Jeff Foxworthy for the next game.
Perfect. Thanks.
Right.
Appreciate it.
But I think that's gonna wrap it up. Is there anything else you wanted to share about Japan, Paddles, or Guy? Anything else? Any final parting weeb words for our listeners?
Go ahead, Paddles.
If you go to Japan, always check out the local food places. Don't go to restaurants. Always check
Street
out local
food. Street food.
Yeah, like that. Like it's gonna change your life, definitely.
Oh, 100% agree.
You also get it super fucking cheap.
Oh yeah.
So cheap. Adding on to that, I did read an article that if you go to Japan and you do want to try restaurants, go at lunch. Don't go to restaurants at night. So a lot of the times they will do their dinner food on like lunch specials because a lot of people don't go out during the day because most Japanese people work so much during the day. So they're not as busy. So they put a lot of their really expensive meats like A5 Wagyu and things like that on deals for lunch. So if you want to hit a fancy restaurant, do that for lunch and then hit street food at night for dinner. That is my recommendation if you do that. I was reading an article on that.
Controversial opinion, Wagyu is overrated.
I agree. I was just saying, like, it's an expensive meat. You can get it for cheap during the day.
That's
all I was saying.
I think Wagyu is like one of those. I think it's worth trying once. Splurge the money just to have like a piece of it or like one like cut of Wagyu for once just to try it and have it. But it's like after that, it's like I wouldn't pay for it again, unless it was like really cheap or something. It's nice. It's fun to eat the first time, but it's so heavy. It's so fatty. You know,
I personally, as a meat connoisseur, I fucking love it. I don't think it's worth the price it is.
that's
I
my
do
thing.
think
Yeah,
it's a very high tier of meat.
yeah.
But I love it. It's good. It's great.
No, it's good. I even said that I would buy it again if it was like much cheaper, but for the price it usually goes for, I just don't think it's worth it.
And that's why I was saying, like, if you want it, like, I was reading an article, and I think instead of it being, I'm going to put it in US dollars because I don't know yen prices very well, but at night, this Wagyu, like, combo dinner was somewhere around, like, 50, 60 US dollars, right?
Dang.
The person went to get it for their lunch deal. Not only was it the same combo that you get for dinner, but it had, like, something extra with it, and I think it was dropped to, like, $18.
See, that's worth it.
I would eat massive deal for lunch.
I would eat a Wagyu like meal or steak or whatever if it was like no more than maybe like $30. Anything more than that, I feel like you're way overpaying for Wagyu.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
I don't know. Depends. But anyways, it was a good talk. I enjoyed
Yeah.
talking about Japan. I'm kind of hungry now talking about Wagyu. I haven't even eaten dinner yet, so I need to go eat some food. Paddles, thank you again for hanging out with us.
Yeah, Paddles, thanks for being our first guest on this podcast.
Yeah, no, honestly,
Yeah.
thank you guys for just letting me get on to talk about anime weeb stuff.
Yeah.
We love having trash snakes around.
True. Everyone, please thank Paddles for joining us on this show. And if you want to see some of those retro games he mentioned earlier, please go check out his channel, twitch.tv/paddlesnake, your friendly neighborhood retro gamer snake. And make sure to give him an orange if you drop on by.
An orange?
Yeah, an orange.
Okay, I'll give you an
He
orange.
loves orange.
And then I'll fill your bathtub with oranges.
Don't fill my bathtub with oranges. You give those oranges to Paddles, please. Put them to a better use.
All right, everyone. Chats, have a good night. We will see you guys next week.
Good night, guys. Chat. Good night, my chat. Thanks for watching us, for listening.
Basura will be live tomorrow night, right?
Mm-hmm. I'll be live tomorrow night.
I won't be live tomorrow morning, but I will be live Friday morning for a nice long makeup stream.
Of course, yeah. We'll see you guys for the podcast next week. We're gonna work on getting these episodes, both video and audio form, up online. So for those that missed part of it, or those that missed it at all, you'll be able to go back in time and enjoy the talk. We'll get those up for you. But thanks again, everybody, for tuning in.
Have a good night, everyone.
We'll see you next time.
Bye.
Bye, everyone.
Good night. Don't put oranges in your bathtub.
Don't do that. Don't do that.